So glad to be with you. Hi. Oh, good. Look, I see Anna and Alan waving. Good to see you guys back. I've been gone for a second. Ruth is here. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Vasca. Hi, Susanna. Some of you may be here from the Thriving Healer. So welcome. This is actually the Embodied Mindfulness School's Tuesday sit meditation and Dharma talk and meditation. I do a talk and then we sit together and we go about 50 minutes. And so if you're welcome to. I'm so glad you're here with us. I won't be specifically talking about the Thriving Healer in this gathering. So I'm just saying that in case that's why you're here. Because I did a 10 a.m. live class yesterday. I will be coming back tomorrow to do my medicine clarity class at 10 a.m. Please stay though. If you could use a little reboot, if you could use a little refreshment, if you could use, some more, I don't know, I think every day I need to remember who I am. I need to sink into intention, because it's so easy to be living in the stream. Yeah. The stream of, I'll get there someday. Right. We have all the time in the world to fart around. I'm sorry, I'm being kind of, but this is how we kind of operate, right? We got all the time in the world to fart around until we get there. And one of the primary things that we talk about in the practice is that was one of the Buddha's main radical teachings was oh no, the jig is up. The jig is up. There ain't nowhere to get. Right. And so part of really grokking this, part of really knowing this in our bones is through this teaching of impermanence, which I'm going to dive into more after we just kind of like we always do, we sort of land together, come into our bodies. We just take a moment to arrive. To let whatever was happening before sort of stay there or something, to recognize that we are arriving into a fresh moment. And then to really sense, we can really be here now, right? Setting that intention. You don't need to plan your day or, whatever the thing is. It's just this reminder, right? You can really not be managing your life for this next, 50 minutes. And just receive what it is that you're here to receive. You may not even know what that is. Right? But we're just open to the arising of it. You're here for a reason, for sure. That I know. And so just checking in with your own heart. How is it for you this morning? Right? Are you in, yeah, sure, Kelly, thanks. Are you, is it, are you feeling well? Are you feeling not well? Are you anxious? Are you relaxed? How's the tension in the body? And then, the thing is, we just make contact with it. We bring awareness to it without the need or without changing it, which is quite radical. So we're just noticing, oh yeah, this is how it is for me. Not my fault. Not necessarily, because I'm so great. It's just that this is how my experience is right now. And then what's your intention? What brings you to this talk, this gathering together of us today? And you can put that in the chat, which is our practice here, Embodied Mindfulness School. When our Sangha gathers on Tuesdays, we check in, we share in the chat. This is what I'm noticing. This is my intention. I want to share this particularly, because, those of you, actually a lot of you are, almost all of you in here are healers. If you're not healers, you're definitely in a leadership role in some way, shape, or form in your life. I know, and so, it's funny before and talking about like imposter syndrome, right? Like, I'm like, before I'm giving this talk, I mean, I've been practicing for like 20 years or something like that. I was reviewing a talk from Pema Chodron to prepare for this talk. But I mean, I've watched before, and I was laughing at myself, realizing I'd watched this talk like several times many years ago. And I was just kind of like laughing at myself, like the judge in me, my imposter syndrome, like, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's like, who are you to do this? Like, your practice sucks. Seriously, that goes on in me. It did. I noticed it. And I'm just bringing this to the fore because it's like, I want to normalize it some, it's like when we do that, it doesn't so much get in our way. Like, I could kind of laugh and go, right. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I haven't been studying this passionately for a really long time. Let me see here. I'm gonna read your messages. Alan, so glad to see you, Alan. Recentering so I can move forward with intentional. Good. Yeah. Glad you're here. Debbie, I'm here to learn what more I can do to help my students. Beautiful. Debbie, great. Welcome. Ruth, clarity, calmness. I'm anxious about a close friend who's very ill. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. And it's never, I always like to recognize when we're worried there's suffering there. It's like, it's not wrong, right? It makes sense that you'd be concerned about your friend. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here, joining from Chicago. Great, Lauren. Going through a divorce and seeking some support guidance. Okay. Yeah. Great. Not great that that's going on for you. I'm sorry too that that's going on for you. You know what I mean? You're like, you get me, right? You get me, okay. Good, Marilyn. Oh, Marilyn's here. I'm feeling content, but pulled into drama, yeah, in others' lives, in the national and world. Oh, for sure. Holy shit, yeah. Here to practice and to be blessed by impermanence. I just say that for us all, right? And I mean this with love for those of you who don't, but especially for those of you who have a uterus, So, yeah. But there's a lot going on, there's a lot going on. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So all of your intentions, like this talk, I think that you're going to hear some things about the teaching of impermanence that will bless you in some way, will bring some peace of mind to your heart and mind. So here we go. Just gonna pull up my notes and see what I got here. I wanted to start with this this poem from Dana Faulds, which I really think she captures like both the essence of impermanence and also its blessing in our lives. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failure, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. The whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Your new eyes. I read this poem and I think of two things. One, I don't think for any human being in a body, the impermanence for a lot of us, it usually like leaves a sour taste in our mouth. We spend a lot of our time trying to establish certainty outside of ourselves to feel that birthright of enough-ness and okayness and wholeness. And when we realize, like, oh, the jig is up, like, who the fuck ever thought? I don't want to get political here. So, it's just like, it's like, sometimes it's like, wow, we really don't know, and it's this embracing of don't know mind that leads to joy, that leads to feeling like we can really take our lives in a deep way, in the meaning of our lives, because we're not so busy trying to manage what has never been manageable, which is often like the future. We're trying to curate our inner lives all the time so that we'll be prepared for a future that doesn't come the way that we think it will. And then when it does come, we're sort of not there for it because we're busy. And the thing, right? Who else like has noticed this? They say with age comes wisdom. And I think, hell yeah, that's true. Because like, it has come with my age. As I get older, I feel like I have more understanding of linear, like time, not linear time, but just time on earth and in my body, and how fast it really is going. Right? Like, it's like, wow, it's like coming and going so fast, I can't hold it. And if I try to hold it and we try to hold it in some way, shape, or form, there's suffering involved. It leads to dissatisfaction. Because even if we get it perfect, it can't stay that way. So we spend a lot of time trying to let's just take this into the relational department. Those of you who relate to being, like me, people pleasers, which is actually a piece of developmental trauma. This need almost to control the other's experience of us so that we can feel safe and secure. And so I say that because I know, like, I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and you have too, and we can kind of get annoyed with this in ourselves. I do, it's like, really, Karina, still you're like, trying to make sure this person's okay with you so that, you'll feel safe and secure in the relationship. So you get, and then you get into all these kinds of strategies. That's a really good example of where the teaching of impermanence can be freeing, because we really can understand, like, you can't control it no matter what. The ball's going to drop. The ball will drop inside of a relationship that you're trying to make sure is like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, all that, those gymnastics we do, they're all for naught. Because in that we abandon ourselves, and then it actually doesn't even work anyway, right? Because they will get mad at you someday, or you're going to do something that's going to upset someone somewhere, and they're going to be pissed, and you're going to have to feel all those icky feelings. And that's actually the only way through, but we have to have understanding and compassion. So that's sort of for ourselves, right? And part of that is in understanding, which is why I'll talk about these things like, people pleasing in a compassionate way. Because it's like, probably if we deal with this pattern, it's something we might be working with for a really long time, and it's okay. But impermanence and understanding that we really don't have control. Now, first of all, the first like layer of this that's hard to stomach, I think, and I say it is, impermanence, death, every moment, but there's birth too. Yeah. So I talked about that in the Monday email that went out yesterday. It was like my New York story. And I talked about how wonderful that trip was for me as a woman who is, late in my 40s and could have just not done that because one, I was alone. It's really hard to I was in the right area and I was just like, if I really want to do it, I'm just going to go. And, I'm not going to go through looking for someone to come with me, except for when my family needed to come home. So I just decided I was going to go by myself. I wouldn't have done any of that and had that whole new life experience that just, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the beauty of life. But if we've been there, done that, which is what happens when we lose touch with the impermanence of life, right? We fart around, we go through the motions, we act like this is going to be here forever, when really it's not. And so we're constantly overlooking the blessings in our life when we don't get real with the fact that it's all going. Because when it's all going, you can really appreciate it, right? This is from Norman Fisher. He's a great teacher. He said, to feel the pain of impermanence and loss can be a profoundly beautiful reminder of what it means to exist. And the teaching of impermanence, if we look at the Pali translation, it's anicca. So in the Pali Canon, the teachings of the Buddha, we have dukkha, anicca, and anatta. Dukkha is suffering, right? And then isn't it fun? It's so sexy, the Dharma. No, it's the truth though. So, it's the truth, which is liberating. This is the real deal, in my opinion, and in my practice. But I have to laugh because I'm like, who wants to talk about suffering, impermanence, and dukkha, anicca, anatta, no self? But it's actually, right? It's there's something really, when we embrace it, when we embrace this truth and we stop being so afraid of the groundlessness. So part of it's the groundless quality of impermanence. If you get this, wow, it's so coming and going so fast, I can't even really hold it. Sometimes that feels wrong because we're always trying to find ground. But what if we kind of sense that feeling of going, it's like a stream or a river. I often think of a river just going, and that's it's okay. We don't have to, we can actually be at ease with that. And see the blessings on the way. I saw these moon jellies yesterday in the lagoon. There were only 2 or 3 that I could spot, right? But if it was same bat time, same bat channel, if I was in that trance of trying to manage all the moments of my life, I go on autopilot. I'm not going to notice. And we go on autopilot when we're not in touch with and autopilot stinks, right? It leads to apathy, it leads to depression, it leads to feeling like the best of your life is already past. We can wake up fresh in this moment, it is a new moment. It doesn't matter how many moments you've racked up to this one. Yeah, we don't know how many more we have, so it makes sense to be awake for this. And in that, it's this is what I've been looking for. There can be a sense of real homecoming. This is another teaching, or a quote. Life is as brief as a dewdrop on a blade of grass. Life is as brief as a dewdrop on a blade. This life, right? This incarnate, just being here as a human with these arms and legs. I saw this, and it's when we really practice, we get there's something, it's trustworthy, this thing that happens called life, like birth and death, right? When we die, there's something that continues. That is evidence. I don't know, I don't know, I stay in the mystery. But there's a great movie out that my husband and I recently saw called everything everywhere all at once. It's really fun if you haven't already seen it. It's really good. It was funny, it was really heartwarming, and it was a trip to like think about. It just kind of blows your mind in a way that I think is really helpful to like, oh, grok that there's so much more at play here than what we really realize. And we can soften and trust that. Well, trust is a practice. It's not like our normal way of rolling in life. We don't roll that way. We don't roll in trust, right? So we get to remember like, an ease in the body can help us with that. Like right now, we can even just sense what would it feel like to be like 5 or 10% more at ease. And so when we live inside of this truth and we appreciate it in our lives, we're more interested in practice than resulting, right? A life of resulting is very unsatisfying because you never get there, do you? I mean, you get there for a second, that place you thought you really needed to get to be okay and or to be happy. But then it's like, right, it changes. That's resulting, right? That's this idea that there is a finish line. Practice is like being in the mystery, right? Being like fresh, like a baby almost, but not like with all this experience and this consciousness. Like when we're a baby, we're aware, but we're not aware. We're aware. The aware of being aware isn't something that we're capable of until we've developed some in this body, which is kind of an interesting thing. And then we're consciously learning how to be babies again in some ways, which is just kind of sweet and funny to think about. And then, because of this, like everything's always changing, it's a reliable refuge, this moment, to rest in this moment, which is always changing. But to be here for this and like what this moment brings, right? Ups and downs. We can't control the vicissitudes, the ups and downs, but we can work with how we respond to them with awareness. When we're aware. When we're not aware, which happens a lot during the day, there's many moments of not mindfulness because mindfulness is impermanent, just like everything else. Isn't that? It's like, shit, why? But it's just the nature of mindfulness, it comes and goes too. And it can be helpful to realize that, just like your feelings, right? Just like your feelings. I had something happen that was really jarring relationally. And it was really helpful for me to like lean into, not to avoid the feeling that came over me, which was really, a lot, right? A big feeling of sadness and sort of grief, and laid on my bed for like an hour, because I could, and it was like what I needed to do, and cried. But it's so good, like when we can do that, knowing, I was like, I know it's going to pass, it will change, it will shift, this will not always be like this. And right now, this is what's coming up. So this is what I get to be with. So it's in a reliable refuge, because you can always be, you're well equipped for now, and we take care of the future by taking care of the present. And if we think we're going to have this life forever, we won't get the sweetness of the dog jumping up on the bed, or the like recognition of like just really loving someone because you've been with them for so long, and you see an old picture of them and you see them now and you realize how long you've known them and that they've been there. Like I think of my husband, my son's birthday is today, so we were looking at photos from when he was born and talking. I like to share the birth story. And then, I was like, we miss it all if we think it's going to last forever. Yeah. And it's like, that's not a life that is worth living, really. So, yeah, right. I think that does it here for my talk on, and it's like, right, like where's the beginning of our talk? Where'd it go? That's so nice though, because that's grace. That's grace, right? It's grace. Like we're so good at sort of damning ourselves, carrying the past around us like it's like, and it's like this is also true of impermanence, that it's gone, right? So will we let it be gone, right? Given that we've made appropriate reparations when needed for actions that haven't been skillful, but we can't do it all the time with every unskillful action. There's lots we do that's just like grace. Time moves on. Do we let it? Do we let ourselves arrive fresh here in this new moment and sense the new opportunities that are here? Yeah. So, oh, I'm going to see it tonight. I'm going to look at the chat. We're going to set up for a meditation now. Yeah, Ruth, there are no guarantees, but let me read some of your chat. I've seen them there too. Oh, yeah. You're going to see it tonight, I bet. I bet you're going with your husband. That for sure. I am always trying to manage everything. Yeah, yeah. Anna feeling frustrated. Okay, so that's intention. Good, good. At this juncture in the talk, I always mention that these Dharma talks and meditations that I do on Tuesdays are I or a wonderful teacher in my place are freely offered. And your donation is great. It really does make a difference. So you can, I'm on PayPal and Zelle and Venmo, and I appreciate your donations that come in. So thank you, thank you. And let's sit together. Yeah. I think, when we think of impermanence, we can think of it as really being supportive of relaxed, like to let sort of light, it's moving, it's like liquid, to let it be moving through this body mind, which it can do beautifully. You sort of sense that ease or relaxing. We don't have to be guarded for what's coming, right? Just for now, we can sort of soften and find a posture, a sitting posture right now, that if you're in a chair like me, I like uncrossed my legs because I just do that all the time. So you can uncross your legs and keep both feet on the floor unless there's some reason that just absolutely doesn't work. And then the hands can be resting on the thighs, palm down. Or if you have the practice of the cosmic mudra, like I do both with my hands. But when I teach, I often use the cosmic mudra. You can take that. Eyes open or closed. If they're open, you want your gaze to be at a kind of downward, a soft gaze. You don't have to stare at anything in particular. Your eyes can be really relaxed. And then whatever we're choosing here, we just stick with whatever we choose for this sit. And we just take some moments to let our awareness sink. Really, like, what's it like in my body, in your body? There's usually a little different sense of ourselves. We really start to get into our bodies. So noticing that and sensing this being in our bodies as a constant throughout the practice. Like we will leave the body and we notice that, but we come back to the sense of being embodied to whatever degree that is happening for us. I'm just going to get quiet here in a moment. As we let our awareness get really simple with our breathing, like the feeling of inhale and exhale. Just letting everything get really simple. Just being with our breath. We don't have to make ourselves breathe. Notice that. Breathing happens on its own. There's something really trustworthy about that. Sometimes every breath is different. It might be shallow or deep. Everyone is different. Softening with this, allowing breathing to happen. maybe noticing the soothing quality of it. There's a way maybe we can be soothed by our own breath. Just letting that happen any way that it does. No striving needed, just awareness. There might be this body, might be feeling achy or open. You might notice there's so many different sensations that move through. They don't stay the same. You can actually include this in our practice. Get curious about any sensations in your body that your attention sort of gravitates towards. Relax. And stay with it. Notice what happens. It may get bigger, it may get smaller, it may stay the same. You may lose interest and come back to your breathing. You're not controlling this where awareness goes. It just goes where it goes. Notice that. If what awareness notices is pleasant, we can notice that and let there be maybe a savoring, which is what happens when we acknowledge pleasant. It's unpleasant. The medicine is kindness. It's just kindness and patience. Coming back to the breath anytime we need to sort of anchor. And if awareness just gets hijacked, right? Just we lose mindfulness because mindfulness is impermanent. We start thinking about what we're going to eat or whatever. We can like notice that, bring that into awareness, and just come back fresh, forgiving, just like life is. In the sense that once we notice we've been gone, that's all, it's already gone. We're no longer gone anymore. We don't need to strain. We don't need to effort. There's a lot going on. You just come back to this sort of open, spacious, embodied awareness. We're resting with what is, moment by moment, realizing that it's changing moment by moment. We don't want to overlook the imperfect peace that's here. There's like, it's just this, whatever that is for you, there's a sense of it maybe. Yeah, this is it, this imperfect peace. Just resting in that. We don't know where it's all going. It's okay. We can sort of just rest with this together. Sensing we're not alone. Here we are together. Just resting here. In any moment like this one, there's a million things right and a million things wrong. You can rest with that. We don't have to make everything right. We don't have to make everything wrong. We can just rest with how it is right here, right now. Sounds are coming and going too. Coming back home to this awareness is reliable. You can always come back to here and now. You can relax and come back. There might be a sense that this here-ness has never left you. It's right here with you. This here-ness is always here, a refuge, a reliable one. Your heart is beating, your breath is happening, all the things happening in your body to keep things going. You're not doing any of it. Really reliable, trustworthy, this wisdom that's here now. If you'd like to join me as we come to, start to move towards the completion of our sit, if you'd like to join me in our loving kindness chant or song or blessing or prayer, you're welcome to do that. You may know the song or not. We're going to chant 3 times. We'll chant for I, you, and we. By the end, if you haven't heard this before, you'll probably have we might be able to sing with us. And so we do this. I put my hand on my heart. You're welcome to do that too, just as a way to offer friendliness and kindness to this one. As we practice offering kindness and friendliness to each other and to all beings in the 4 and the 10 directions, sharing the merits of our practice with those, especially those who really need it in this moment. Taking a deep breath in, May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. And as your eyes are closed, as you flutter them open, you're invited to our practice of just orienting, yeah? So if you know about trauma, you know about orienting. So we're just looking over both the shoulders. This is for the nervous system as we recognize, okay, here we are again, meeting this new moment, right? Letting ourselves like, okay, we're moving out of our meditation. Now we're moving, yeah, good. We're moving into this moment. So thanks for sitting with me. And I'd love to hear from you in the chat, any takeaways you have on these teachings or the Dharma talk or the meditation on impermanence, anicca. I did reference, or I studied, Pema Chodron has a great YouTube video about 7 minutes long on this topic. It's fantastic. She did it when she was 80, so she is very in touch with impermanence, though there are plenty of 80-year-olds who aren't. And so watch that. Watch how childlike she is too. She's so fresh and how her beingness. Lion's Roar, Tricycle, and Barre, Massachusetts. Their center in Barre, Insight Center in Barre, Massachusetts. Thanks for coming. If you are new to me and you're part of the Thriving Healer, I've been offering a free session called Thriving Healer Clarity Session to help you get clear about what's the next right thing for you. And I'm really good at it. So if you want to sit with me and have me help you with that, there is a link that's being sent out in the emails. I'll put it in the chat as well. Marlene, Marlene's here. I did not see you coming in for some reason, which is so weird. The present is a reliable refuge. Good, right? Yes. Thank you, Marilyn. Yes. Reminded again not to, right? Yeah, it's good for us. We've been practicing. It's like bring it back to your body always. Body never lies. And we can always relax from the inside out. It's essential to letting go is relaxing. Yeah. So, yeah, beautiful. And let me just grab this link. Thank you for your patience with me on that. Copy. And yeah, grab them. I'm only offering, as this is going on, the Thriving Healer. So take advantage and grab that. Trust, presence, trust, impermanence equals peace. Yes. And come back on Tuesday. Come back next week. If this served you, if you were fed here and it helped you in some way, please keep coming back, because if it helped a little bit, there's something about this and this practice that there's a cumulative effect. Yeah. And so if you keep coming back, it's the consistency. It doesn't matter if you're a hot mess. Please come, especially if you're a hot mess. Okay. You come as you are. There's something about the consistency of practice and then coming together as a Sangha. So really, I encourage you to prioritize it. And share it with a friend. These are open to everyone. So sending you much love and blessings, and I will be here next week. Alan, Anna, some of these I'm not sure. Dalton Gangs 88, Debbie, Lauren, Marilyn, Marlene, Ruth. It was fun singing yesterday, Ruth. Vasca, blessings. I'll see you tomorrow in the Client Catalyst, or in the Medicine Clarity class that I'm doing live at 10 a.m. PT, if you want to come. If you're in the Thriving Healer, come. All right, bye.